Ralph Emerson is the founder of Transcendentalism. He was one of the most influential writers of his time. Henry David Thoreau was his protege. A lot of his works were about natural history and philosophy. Margaret Fuller was a women's rights activist. She had a very big influence on men and women everywhere. She was very well educated and involved in many politics. Her father died when she was 25. Since women couldn't own land, her uncles took over her estate. This led to her book, Women in the 19th Century. This book encouraged many women to be independent. She was the first girl to use Harvard's library, and the first National Women's Congress at Seneca Falls was a big influence on her works. Edgar Allan Poe had a hard life since he was 2. He had a series of female deaths leading up to the time he was 39 years old. His mother died, his first love died, his foster mother died, and his first wife died. His fiancée, Sarah Helen Whitman, hired a medium after he died, and claims he communicated through her and wrote the poems that the medium, Lizzie Doughton, published. Most of his works were very dark. His most famous poem was The Raven. James Lowell was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts. He was an abolitionist due to his wife's persuasion. He and his wife had 4 kids and only one lived past infancy. His firstborn, Rose, inspired his poem, The First Snowflake. Washington Irving was influential in the development of the short story format. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is a story of a supernatural town. The legend of the Headless Horseman comes from this story. Anti-Transcendentalism was a small philosophical movement that consisted of only 2 members, Herman Melville and Nathaniel Hawthorne. Emily Dickinson wrote 1,775 poems in her lifetime. Only 7 were published before she died. She lived in complete isolation and only spoke to a select group of friends through notes and poems. Frederick Douglass was a runaway slave. He was a women's rights activist, and he attended the first National Women's Congress at Seneca Falls in 1848. Ralph Waldo Emerson also attended the Women's Congress at Seneca Falls. The Fireside Poets were the first group of American poets to rival British poets in popularity. Their works focused on nature and the imagination. The Fireside Poets were Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, John Greenleaf Whittier, Oliver Wendell Holmes, James Russell Lowell, and William Cullen Bryant.